This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, October 21st, 1998, the New York Yankees swept the San Diego Padres. You'd be thinking to yourself, oh, it's just a sweep. Why are you doing it on that? Well, simply put, the 1998 New York Yankees were just a dynamo. It's just practically how the Yankees were in 1998. So, anyway, let's give you some context. The San Diego Padres were not really supposed to be in the postseason, if you will. They really didn't do much and all that. There was front office dismay and all that. A lot of things happened. And Bruce Bochy, who is actually the current Texas manager as of this taping, was named manager in San Diego, and he helped the team turn around. They put up 91 wins in 1996 to win the NL West, although they were swept in the first round by the Cardinals. They fell back in 97. 98, they rebounded with a 98-win season, making them the highest winning team in Padres history. Tony Gwynn was still around. Greg Vaughn, Andy Ashby, Trevor Hoffman, and Kevin Brown, who they pilfered off of Florida in the great fire sale of the Marlins, contributed to the Padres. Vaughn put up 50 home runs in the season. The Padres were the 3 seed and would face the Astros, who were the NL Central champions. And the Padres were the NL West champions. But somehow, in some way, they took down the Astros in 4 games, thanks to Jim Leyritz, who somehow, in some way, got 3 home runs in that series against Houston, even though he only had 4 home runs in his regular season. And then the NLCS, everyone expected the Braves to crush the tar out of the Padres because of their pitching staff of Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox still being together. Somehow, in some way, the hitting helped, and the Padres won the NLCS in 6 games. But the 98 New York Yankees were just huge. Well, they had high expectations. In 97, they got shocked in the ALDS by Cleveland in Game 5. During the offseason, the Yankees made some moves. They got Scott Brosius from the A's, Chuck Knobloch from the Twins, and Alfonso Soriano, who actually was in Japanese pro baseball at the time. Alongside these new acquisitions, the Yankees still had talent. They had the core 4 of the Yankees who were once minor league teammates in the early 90s but came up together. Andy Pettitte, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, and Mo Rivera. David Cohn and David Wells were pitching quite well, especially Wells throwing a perfect game in that 98 season. Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams were just great. Under Joe Torre, they put up 46 wins in their first 59 games, which was huge, and put up 114 wins, making them the American League record holder for most wins in a season. Unfortunately, that would be broken by the 2001 Mariners. And yes, they will be talked about tomorrow on tomorrow's Sports Catastrophe. The Padres were the #1 overall seed. They easily swept Texas, holding the Rangers offense to 1 freaking run. In the ALCS, it was a rematch with Cleveland. Somehow Cleveland was up 2-1. However, the Yankees put up 3 straight games and won. The 98 Yankees were just that damn good and all that. They made lots of major moves and all that. Let's give you the Yankees roster. Well, players who played for the 98 Yankees in the regular season. Willie Banks, pitcher. Willie Banks, Joe Borowski, Ryan Bradley, Jim Bursky, Mike Buddy, David Cohn, Todd Ertles, Orlando El Duque Hernandez, Darren Holmes, Hideki Arabu, yeah, he played for that team, Mike Duranzbeck, Graham Lloyd, Ramiro Mendoza, Jeff Nelson, Andy Pettitte, Mo Rivera, Mike Stanton, Jay Tesmer, and David Wells. Catchers were Mike Figa, Joe Girardi, and Jorge Posada. Infielders, Scott Brosius, Homer Bush, Derek Jeter, Chuck Knobloch, Mike Lowell, Tino Martinez, Luis Sojo, and Dale Swain. Outfielders, Chad Curtis, Ricky Leday, Paul O'Neill, Tim Raines, Shane Spencer, Darryl Strawberry, and Bernie Williams, with Chili Davis being the DH. The Yankees went 17-6 in April, 20-7 in May, 19-7 in June, 20-7 in July, 22-10 in August, and 16-11 in September. So yeah, September they actually struggled, but I think they basically had their second string players. Maybe that was why they couldn't break the record of the 1906 Cubs. But then again, I mean, I was there when the Yankees lost to the Blue Jays at the Skydome 9-3 in July of '98, and I did that video. You got to look at the July chronological stuff. But yeah, it was like huge. Anyhow, the World Series started on October 17th with the Yankees winning 9-6. Although they were actually down 5-2 in the seventh, but home runs were the big boy. Tito Martinez hit a grand slam into the upper deck to help the Yankees win the game 9-6. In Game 2, the Yankees started off fast with 7 runs in the first 3 innings to win 9-3. Game 3 saw the Yankees narrowly win 5-4. It was close. San Diego made it close, and they were up 3-0. However, Scott Brocious would key the comeback with a home run, and then Shane Spencer doubled and scored on a mistake by Caminiti. Trevor Hoffman was ready to close the game out, but he walked Tito Martinez before Scott Brocious did it again over the fence in dead center to make it 5-4. It was like, holy crow! Like, Scott Brocious came out of freaking nowhere. So Game 4 happened on this day, October 21st, and Andy Pettitte was not going to let things happen to him. And it was actually a scoreless game through 5 innings before Bernie Williams hit an RBI groundout. But Scott Brocious, as Scott Brocious did, hit an RBI single to score a run, and Ricky Ledee had a sac fly. The Padres got 2 batters on base against Pettitte in the 8th. Jeff Nelson came in to strike out Greg Vaughn, and then Mo Rivera was called upon. After a Caminiti single, Rivera did get Jim Leyritz to fly out to end the threat. And then the 9th inning, Rivera had a calm 9th inning, and the Yankees win 3-0 and clinched the greatest season in baseball history. I mean, their 114 wins combined with regular season games, combined with 11 postseason victories, makes it 125 wins. The most combined wins by a team ever. Regular season and postseason. You'd be thinking, hang on, what about the 06 Cubs? Well, the 06 Cubs, even if they did win the World Series, which they didn't, would not have had that many victories. They would have had 120 combined, because back in those days, in 1906, you only had 2 teams make the playoffs. That's for the World Series. Whereas in 98, you had 8 teams make the playoffs. So your chances of making the playoffs were greater in 98, and thus you can get more wins. The 2001 Mariners had the same opportunity, but unfortunately for them, they only got 120 combined wins. They only got 4 postseason wins. So yeah, it was pretty huge and all of that. And all that. So the Yankees, that was championship number 24, which meant that they tied the Montreal Canadiens for most championships by a North American pro team. The next year, they would break that mark. It was just humongous. The 98 Yankees were the first team to make a sweep in the World Series since 1990. So that was huge. And actually, it was the first time in 9 years that the World Series actually had the best record in the regular season. And it was the first time since 1986 that a team that won the World Series actually had 100 wins. At least 100. The Padres would fall to 0-2 in the World Series, making them the record holder for most finals appearances without a title. But that has just been tied by Texas and Tampa, so that's the huge thing and all that. Anyway, San Diego has a major championship drought since 1963. It's the longest streak of futility by a city with at least one professional sports team. The Padres would worse. It would be worse for them. Kevin Brown left for free agency and earned the first $100 million contract. Ironically, Kevin Brown would play for the Yankees for the final year of his career. But yeah, the fact of the matter was that the Yankees were just that damn good. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.